Yeah.
This is Silicon Real, so we like to get real and ask a couple questions about your business model. I mean, I see one thing here, and you're basically scoring people's credit, especially when it comes to a new company. And I was wondering if investors, how can they know that you can make a good call on a new company and whether they're going to get paid? This whole invoice dispute thing gets tricky,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
if they don't do the work and you find out 3 months later, how are you guys qualified to do something like that?
Yeah, look, good question. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, what we're doing, right, is we're actually figuring out a new way of like risk management, a new way of credit scoring of businesses, and that's been a notoriously difficult thing to do for everyone. You have a couple of what I would call like Goliath credit reference bureaus, so companies like Experian, Equifax,
Right.
Dun& Bradstreet, and they kind of try to give like a snapshot credit score for businesses. But what we found is that if we relied on that, we wouldn't have given money to anyone.
Right.
Because by definition, if you're a small business and there's not much public information about you, it's very hard to have a meaningful score.
So it's an oil tanker again with those companies.
Yeah, exactly. So we have to basically, what we do is we pipe in that data, we use that as a kind of starting point, but then we refine it with our own interpretation and bringing in more data sources, right? So, we pull data from the application form, we pull more data about the directors, we do online profiling, we have a statistical approach to certain industry. We know that certain sectors are more risky than others, right? So we're kind of crunching. I guess that's the kind of our secret sauce, right? That's going to be the thing that's super valuable about our business is the fact that
the credit data that you guys
yeah,
have.
Yeah, and also then when a company starts to use us, we build up, we have like that payment information,
Right.
and that suddenly means that our score is kind of much more real time than the credit reference agency.
Right.
Right.
And that's proprietary information.
And that's So the exact way how we use that data is kind of what we're all about. And stuff like new stuff like social profiling, just like in terms of anti-fraud, is really interesting because in the past banks would send people to go and meet businesses and look them in the eye, and then they'd come back and say that's a real guy and that's a real company. Well, now everything you can pretty much identify whether a person is real or not by their online presence. I mean, sometimes that can be misleading, but we believe that there are certain online social / online footprint metrics that are predictive of a fraudster, or changes to online profiles that are predictive of a certain catastrophic event. Right. So that's kind of the fun part right now. We're in a whole new world.
So your intellectual property really is your credit scoring at the end of the day, would you say?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that's an important part. So how we acquire business, how we market the product is a whole new world, right? No longer you need to go around with a car and knock on doors. I think you can do quite a lot of acquisition online. In fact, B2B sales is becoming almost like B2C. I mean, business owners are becoming more and more like consumers, especially our generation, right? We don't go and talk to an accountant or a bank manager. We go online. We go to Google. Right. And we figure out what we want to do based on that. So acquisition, it's a new world. Risk management, it's a new world. And I guess also the final bit of innovation is around the fact that we're crowds. We don't have a balance. We're not a bank, right? We're actually the platform,
right?
And then we're allowing people to take very diversified portfolios directly. So it's not like give us the money and we'll manage it for you and guarantee you return. You're actually going to be in and diversified across everything yourself.
Who thought receivables could be so sexy, right?
It's amazing.
It is really amazing. There's so many facets to this
Well,
business model.
Yeah, and I think, I don't want to give away sort of your future secrets, but I see so many different avenues that you guys can start going into. Have you thought about that? If one of these good companies have been with you for 2 years and, if they ask you for $1 million £1 loan, you know what I mean? Like, is that something that
they finance them? Or?
Yeah, you could finance them because you'd have a better idea realistically perhaps than the bank would that they're a reputable customer.
Exactly. I mean, and what happens is that what we're really, as businesses use us more and more and really enjoy using us, we're like the first port of call.
Right.
Like, so for example, some companies have said, look, I'm growing like crazy and I want to raise some equity. Can you do that? And I have to, right now I can't, right? We're not an equity kind of crowdsourced platform, but, there's going to be ways of like deepening our suite of products based on the information that we collect.
Yeah.
Right? Already companies are coming to us and say, look, it's great using you for the invoices, but actually what I need prepayments for the Chinese factories because I'm importing my stuff from like Guangzhou. and they need me to post 20% as a deposit before they ship me anything. Can you help with us? Now, that's a completely different risk profile, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Yeah, so that's much riskier. But it should be possible over time to build in a price to make that happen. Right? It might not be 2-3%. It might be 5-10% because it's riskier.
But that's but those are like apples and oranges, aren't they, when it comes to receivables and then import export?
Yeah.
Then you
Trade
got
finance,
international law, and
But there, look, at the moment banks do both, right? Banks do trade finance, letters of credit, purchase order finance, invoice finance. They don't do it particularly well, right? And there's lots of reasons for that. But I guess we have more than enough to do with invoices. It's huge. I mean, it's at any given point in time, there's like 15 billion outstanding in invoice finance in the UK alone, and we did 15 million last month, right? So there's a long way to go.
you can grow 1,000 times, to take over the whole market.
Yeah, and I mean, even if we do 1% of the market, 2% of the market, we are big player, and our business is amazing in terms of what it's doing, right?